Today's sync sound is a slap in the face. In 3, 2, 1.
Why did we think that was a good idea?
I don't know. I just felt like I had to do it with enough force for the audio to come over well, and I definitely achieved that. Welcome to That Just Might Work, the podcast about everyday items. Jesse, how are you doing today?
I'm wide awake now after slapping myself in the face.
Yeah, that was needed. We're recording late on a Sunday night. Normally we try to do this ahead of time, but this was sort of a last minute as a result of St. Patrick's Day shenanigans decision to get this topic worked out, do the research, and actually sit down at the microphone. So
yeah, today was a bit of a recovery day. I think that was the case for you as well.
Yeah, a little bit of, drinking adult beverages last night, celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
A small consumption of adult beverages yesterday.
A reasonable amount for St. Patrick's Day when you're at a bar. We'll say that.
Okay.
Did you have a lot of green beer?
Yeah, too much green beer. I don't really see the appeal, honestly, but it didn't seem like I had a choice where I went.
I was a little upset. The place that I went, they were serving green beer, but when I ordered beer, it wasn't green, and I kind of wanted to, I think they could add food coloring to it, and I didn't. I don't know. I felt like it would have been childish to have asked, but I wanted it to be green.
You missed out, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's welcome our guest, because she's awkwardly sitting very close next to me. A middle school math teacher, youth soccer coach, former guest on the show, and also my fiance. Welcome back to the show, Stephanie Hayes.
Hey guys.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on. I'm a little surprised that you want to.
Yeah. I feel like I came up with a good topic for you guys this week. So.
Yeah, we have to give Stephanie some credit, because we were racking our brains the last minute trying to figure out what to do, and yesterday, I think it was.
Yep.
You said the mailbox, because the mailbox kind of sucks.
It does.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. What is this, episode 13? 14. And it's like, if you had asked me to list 14 objects, apparently that's difficult, right? Like, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, we're going to be in trouble if we want this show to, carry
right
on for, a year is going to be episode 52. 52 weeks.
56.
53 sometimes. Isn't it 53?
I don't think there are leap weeks.
I'm pretty sure it's 53.
No, it's 50. There's 52 weeks.
This is really awful. I'm a math teacher, and I have to make my kids convert it all the time. But I do tell them, if they ever forget, just take 365 and divide it by 7.
All right. Well, we will have to fact check that if you would like to do it for us. Feedback at thatjustmightworkpodcast.com. Let's get into today's topic. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. The definition from Wikipedia. And I had to look at, there's sort of a general encompassing Wikipedia entry that includes mailboxes, letterboxes, letter plates, letter holes, mail slots, etc. Mailbox is all of the above are receptacles for receiving incoming mail at a private residence or business. Mail slots are more popular outside of the U.S. They are not capable of outgoing mail. Sending mail from a private residence in the UK is not possible. Did you know that?
Mail slot was also your nickname in college.
It was?
Sorry, no.
It wasn't.
Sorry, just a few times the words come out where I just have to do that.
Yeah.
I was stuck on the letter hole.
Yeah, of the choices there, you chose to go with mail slot as my nickname when letter hole was on the board. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, too many good options with this one.
Yeah. But anyway, did you guys know that you can't send outgoing mail from a private residence in the UK? I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You took the opportunity to make fun of me.
I had no idea.
So what do?
I don't know. They have to go to the post office, I suppose. Or use, like a mail drop.
Oh, okay.
Wall-mounted mailboxes are especially popular in urban and suburban areas of Canada. That's where you have the mailbox mounted, next to your front door. The curbside mailbox actually is pretty rare outside of rural areas in Canada. Rural and suburban areas of North America utilize those curbside mailboxes, often equipped with the red flag to indicate the presence of outgoing mail to the mail carrier, and that is in suburban and rural areas of the United States the most common type of mailbox, and what we're mostly going to be talking about today.
Right, I think that's what we're all used to here.
Right. Mm-hmm. Though, Jesse, you don't have a mailbox in that sense, right?
Yeah, I live in an apartment building, so I've got one of the apartment style, like it's a whole grid of little mail lock boxes, I'll say. So I kind of had that in mind, but I think I did when I came to coming up with an idea. I was sort of thinking about the traditional roadside mailbox.
Okay. I wanted to touch on a couple of interesting tidbits of information I found on the Wikipedia page in terms of legal requirements for mailboxes. Just a lot of stuff I didn't really know about as we're going over the definition. Early regulations for curbside mailboxes required the traditional dome rectangle form, first established in, I'm going to leave the date blank here because I don't want to spoil Jesse's opportunity to guess it. But that's the traditional, most popular shape mailbox. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Later in the century, I'm trying not to spoil anything here, the establishment of the restructured U.S. Postal Service allowed postal authorities to approve a contemporary mailbox specification for alternative designs. For a long time, they had to meet that specific form, and that's part of the reason why we see so many of them still. Currently, U.S. curbside mailboxes are classified as T for traditional, C, contemporary, or L, locking. Traditional or contemporary non-locking curbside mailboxes are approved in 3 sizes, number 1, 2, or 3, measured by minimum interior dimensions. The largest acceptable curbside mailbox is the number 3, which measures 22.81 inches long, 11 inches wide, and 15 inches in height. It's a pretty big mailbox.
That's huge.
Yeah, that is really big.
Like a foot wide.
But I don't know about you guys. I didn't really think that mailboxes were so heavily regulated. Like you can't really go out and just. Was that you?
I don't know what that was.
Just a weird popping noise happening.
Yeah, she just made a popping noise. You can't just use whatever you want as your mailbox.
That's it. Yeah, so you can't just take like a trash can and mount it on a post.
No, you can't. Like they might let it fly. It's locally regulated. You might get away with it, and you may have seen some crazy mailboxes, but in general, you can't do that. Some environmental concerns. External or curbside letterboxes are not temperature controlled. This can sometimes be a concern for temperature-sensitive products such as pharmaceuticals, live plants, or other organisms, or chocolate candies, they note.
That's a concern of mine.
Yeah. Conditions can include high or low temperatures outside of the recommended storage conditions for certain products. For example, US FDA found that the temperature in a steel mailbox painted black could reach 136 degrees Fahrenheit in full sun, while the ambient air temperature were 101 degrees.
That'll melt your chocolate candies.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have some chocolate fondue in the mail. Into the history. Jesse, take a guess. When did mailboxes first come around?
This is hard because I imagine like mail has existed for a pretty long time. Maybe they just used to kind of drop it off at the door, though, and there wasn't a box for a while. Let's say 1725.
You're a little early.
All right.
Private letterboxes or mail slots did not become popular in... we're starting in Europe here because we actually saw them first in Europe until the mid to late 19th century. Although they were used in Paris from the late 18th century. Oh, so you were actually really close.
That's not
late
yeah.
late 18th century. You said 1700s, so
proper decade.
maybe off by 50 years, give or take.
I'll take it.
Not bad.
You weren't saying that Jesus was using a mailbox, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did, but.
How did he get his magazine subscriptions?
How did he get his chocolate candies?
Oh, that gave me a good T-shirt idea.
Jesus receiving a package of chocolate.
Exactly. In 1849, the Royal Mail first encouraged people to install letterboxes to facilitate the delivery of mail. Before then, letterboxes of similar design had been installed in the doors and walls of post offices for people to drop off outgoing mail. In North America, 1863, with the creation of Free City Delivery, the U.S. Post Office Department began delivering mail to home addresses, 1863. Until 1916, mail carriers knocked on the door and waited patiently for someone to answer. Efficiency experts estimated that each mailman lost over 1.5 hours each day just waiting for patrons to come to the door. To correct this problem, the Post Office Department ordered that every household must have a mailbox or a letter slot in order to receive mail. I don't know why they didn't think of that right off the bat.
Imagine being that mailman just waiting and no one's home.
Yeah, what would you do if no one was home? That was your day?
You just hang out.
You just
eat the chocolates.
Just like a Sims character or something like, well, I'm stuck here.
You don't get your mail and it's like, the neighbors must have not been home. He's probably 2 doors down.
Stuck there till 5 o'clock.
This requirement was phased in starting with a new delivery locations around 1912. Slowly, homeowners and businesses began to install mail slots or attached mailboxes to receive mail when they were either not at home or unable to answer the door. The requirement was made mandatory in 1923. Before the introduction of rural free delivery by the post office in 1896 and in Canada in 1908, many rural residents had no access to the mail unless they collected it at a post office located many miles from their homes or hired a private express company to deliver it. Many rural homeowners and farmers were initially reluctant to install mailboxes and preferred to leave empty bushel baskets, tin boxes, or wooden crates for mail to be deposited in. I wonder, why were they hesitant to adopt mailboxes?
Yeah, were they afraid of it for some reason?
I can't figure it out.
Why didn't you research it?
I did. It wasn't in the. I'm not going to look beyond Wikipedia to figure this out. If it's not there, then there's no one knows, as far as I'm concerned.
I didn't find fear of mailboxes as being a psychological disorder or anything in my research.
It probably is. Since 1923, the United States, that is, post office has retained authority over size and use regulations, resulting in limitations on product diversity and design. Did you struggle, Jesse, to find product innovation?
Yeah, definitely one of the items with the fewest number of Kickstarters, I would say, and not a whole lot from the commercial side of things either.
Okay. We'll get to Jesse's innovative news section. In 1915, the familiar curbside Gerolman mailbox, I may be mispronouncing that, named after its designer, post office employee Roy J. Gerolman, was approved by the post office. Gerolman, I don't know, I have to feel like I have to say his name that way. Gerolman, who held a degree in mechanical engineering, designed his mailbox with the unusual dome rectangular shape, incorporating a curved tunnel-shaped roof, latching door, and rotating semaphore flag. Might be saying that wrong, too. The Gerolman mailbox has been praised as a manifestation of American functionalist industrial design because of how durable and how inexpensive the design is. It kind of is.
Yeah. I would say, for how simple it is and everything, it does its job.
Yeah, and, it incorporates, the structural integrity of an arc design.
Right.
And I also read it requires very few rivets. I guess that's what makes it inexpensive. The largest mailbox in the world is located in Casey, Illinois, measures at 5,743 cubic feet. It was that's like 3 times the size of our house, right?
That definitely doesn't fit within the dimensions that we've been talking about.
No, it's just, this can't be legal. But
is it meant to be an actual mailbox, or is it like a museum thing where you go and see it?
I think it's more of a spectacle.
Sounds like a post office.
Right.
Yeah, that's just literally what a post office is.
It was created by Jim Bolin. It was verified on the 20th of October, 2015. And that is, I'm going to leave it for the history on the mailbox, because that's where we're stuck. The United States Post Office restructured as USPS, the Postal Service. They still have regulations over mail delivery, mailbox size requirements, etc. We haven't seen a lot of innovation, and that actually makes it a pretty good candidate, I think, for this show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, how do you guys feel about taking a break and playing a mail-themed game?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm getting, you may notice, Steph, I'm getting the timer up because we're going to play another round of fact or fiction speed round.
I'm nervous.
I'm forgetting how to use my timer. But we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock. How do I do this? Oh, I got to cancel my existing time. All right, 3 minutes are on the clock. I have approximately 15. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 items that either can legally or cannot legally be mailed by the USPS.
Okay.
In a game called Can You Mail It?
Do-do-do.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth, starting with Stephanie as our guest. We're going to put 3 minutes on a clock. I will make a tally. Is there a pen? There's a pen right here. As to your points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the winner.
You're going down.
Oh, some trash talking. Yeah, that's new. All right, we'll do Stephanie versus Jesse. 3 minutes on the clock. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, Stephanie. Can you mail it? A coconut with no packaging.
No packaging. How do you?
A coconut on its own with a stamp on it. Can you
With
mail
just a
it?
stamp and an address?
Yeah.
I guess if the stamp sticks, why not? Sure.
That is correct. You can mail a coconut. Jesse, a potato with no packaging. Can you mail it?
I feel like if you can mail a coconut, you can mail a potato.
That is correct. A point for Jesse. Back to Stephanie. Live bees.
Yes.
Can you mail them? Why so much confidence?
Yeah, a lot of confidence.
One of my students told me that they could get bees and they get them mailed in.
All right, that is correct. Fun little anecdote, too. Jesse, cremated remains. Can you mail it?
I guess I don't see why not. It's just powder.
That is correct.
It's just.
Well, the interesting thing is you can't mail body parts.
Yeah.
But you can mail if they're cremated.
I would think it would be a big deal between states. Okay, we're on it.
All right, on to Stephanie. Beer. Can you mail it?
Yeah.
Trick question. You need a specific license to be able to do it.
You've mailed beer before.
Oh, sure. It doesn't mean it's illegal.
Oh.
Jesse, a handgun. Can you mail it?
No.
That is correct. Ooh. Stephanie, a shotgun. Can you mail it?
No. I'm going to be wrong.
That is incorrect. You actually can mail a shotgun.
But not the handgun.
Those laws are backwards.
Jesse, a condom. Can you mail it?
Like an unused one? Sure, why not?
Wrong. Unless it was specifically requested, it's illegal to mail unsolicited contraceptives. Stephanie, live scorpions. Can you mail it?
I want to say no. That's scary.
That's incorrect. correct.
What?
You can mail live scorpions.
Okay, so
Jesse.
so unsolicited live scorpions is okay, but a condom, no, thank you.
Jesse, bananas. Can you mail them?
I think no on this one.
That's great. Stephanie, spray paint. Can you mail it?
No, it's an inhalant.
Spray paint, incorrect. You can mail it. Jesse, pepper spray. Can you mail it?
No.
That is correct. Stephanie, cigarettes. Can you mail it?
Well, I can't do alcohol, so no for cigarettes.
That is correct. And to Jesse, pigeons. Can you mail it?
Do they fly themselves, or you have to put them in a box?
In a box.
That seems like animal cruelty. I'm going to say no.
That is correct. A point for Jesse. And with that, he takes the last question lead, the final score of 4-3.
That timer didn't go off. I knew this was going to happen.
Oh, the timer's going to go off. 2 seconds. Jesse is going to be the winner.
That was remarkably close and challenging.
I know. Ugh, if only I got the shotgun.
Yeah. So the law is you cannot mail a concealable weapon, but you can mail a gun if it's unloaded.
Did they explain I don't really know that I understand the condom thing.
Like, I think if you just want to send one to a friend who doesn't mind getting it, it's not a big deal.
But it's like harassment otherwise?
You cannot mail unsolicited contraceptives.
So you can't send us condoms with no name on it.
If you didn't specifically ask for me to mail you condoms, it would be illegal for me to send them to you just on a whim.
All right.
Good to know in case I ever want to send them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid to put like an open disclaimer that like if people want to send them, like go for it.
We'll accept them.
I'm going to regret that.
All right. I thought pigeons were interesting because you cannot send any live animals with a few exceptions.
Scorpions.
I'm talking outside of like the insect realm. You could send live chickens.
Really?
Chicks. Yeah. With appropriate packaging.
It like makes sense because like,
yeah, like I don't know what
how
appropriate packaging is there.
Yeah.
It makes sense because like how would Tractor Supply get all their little chicks? They have to get sent in the mail.
Yeah, I guess
Right?
Or
so.
they could be yeah, I guess. I don't know if it comes on a Tractor Supply truck from somewhere.
FedEx.
Does FedEx deliver Tractor Supply's chickens?
I don't know.
Those are some bold claims that you're
We're going to need another fact check here.
Yeah, feedback at thatjustmightworkpodcast.com. All right, let's get into a roundtable discussion. What sucks about the mailbox? You go first, Steph.
I honestly hate going across the street to go get my mail. I think that's very annoying. I also don't like how there's always a lot of junk mail in there that I don't necessarily want. I would say, I don't know, it's not like innovative. Like it's behind the times.
Yeah. You hit on most of my points. I said it's mostly spam. Like I don't need most of my mail. I hate walking to the mailbox. It's slow. I don't know what they call it, snail mail. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, but and I said it's lost a lot of its character. I feel like when I was reading about early history of mail sending, there was like people went to the post office and they wrote letters, and there was no email, so it was a little more special to get a handwritten letter. But
right.
I still kind of get how there could be appeal in that, and I don't know. It feels so boring to send somebody something by the mail now.
Yeah,
I enjoy getting things in the mail. I don't like sending them because I suck at going to get stamps. That's also why it sucks. I mean, they have to make a profit somehow, but.
Right. What about you, Jesse?
I think you guys kind of nailed it. I hate having to go and get it, especially we all live in upstate New York, and it hurts your face to walk outside 6 months of the year. So having to do that kind of sucks. And yeah, the spam, it frustrates me so much. I'd say 80% of the mail I get, I don't need nor want.
No, I don't even open. I want to say like more than half of my mail because I know it's junk mail.
Yeah, so it just a lot of it gets thrown out or hopefully recycled, but it's really wasteful.
Right. Yeah, it is environmentally not a good thing. Innovative news. What did you find for new age or mailbox improvements?
Yeah, as I mentioned, not a whole lot, probably because of the strict regulations. A couple Kickstarter per usual. There's like a couple new creative designs that I assume still meet like the dimensional requirements, and then a few I'll call smart improvements. The first one is the Minder. This is a Kickstarter. It's like a little attachment basically that you put in your mailbox, and it detects when mail has been put in, and it sends you a notification to your phone. I really like it just because it's kind of simple. It's not like they went and upgraded the entire mailbox. It's just like a little improvement that kind of brings it to the 21st century.
Yeah, I like it.
Little expensive. It's going to be like, I don't know, roughly, let's say $100. Unfortunately, that Kickstarter only has 5 days left, and they're $30,000 short. So
too bad.
Everyone listening, go help them.
It does seem like it. That would be slightly helpful, but I don't know. I so rarely care whether or not I even have mail. Right. That I couldn't see backing that Kickstarter.
Yeah. Another sort of more smart invention. I don't know how to say this. I want to say the Ucella, and it is a smart package and delivery mailbox. This is cool. It's got a camera on it. It's got it's Wi-Fi enabled. They have a mobile app, and you can actually kind of pair it up with like your Amazon account, and so you'll get the tracking information kind of all in that app on all your packages. And then when the postman comes to deliver it, they have to scan the barcode, and the mailbox actually expands to like fit packages, which I thought was kind of cool. The only one thing I want to say is I couldn't find whether or not this would actually be like legal, because I don't know if the post office is cool with having to like figure out how to open your mailbox, basically.
Based upon some of my reading, that may not be legal. I read about, if you or I just wanted to have a locked mailbox and we wanted the mail carrier to have the key to it, that wouldn't be legal.
Right. I mean, that would really slow down their job if like every person was like, hey, you need to unlock this. You need to come stand at my door until I answer it.
Right. You need to wait until I get home from work.
Yeah. The last one is another smart mailbox, but it's a little bit more, I think, reasonable maybe. It's got that same feature of it knows when mail is delivered. It's got some sensors, so you get the notification, which I think is nice. It, I guess it does lock, but this is supposed to learn the postman's schedule, and it automatically unlocks like half an hour before they're expected to arrive, and then I think remains unlocked until it detects something's in there. So it seems like that could work as long as it doesn't fail at any point.
Yeah, as long as the mailman doesn't show up and it's locked.
Yeah, so that's called the Mr. Postman, and I think that's a nearly successful Kickstarter.
Like, imagine if your neighbor came to put, like, I don't know, banana bread or something in your mailbox to be nice, and then they lock your mailbox.
Yeah, but that's technically illegal, isn't it?
It's if you don't know that someone's going to put something in your mailbox. Like, we can put something in our neighbor's mailbox if they're like expecting it.
The condoms. You can't put condoms in your neighbor's mailbox unless they're expecting you to.
Right. No condoms, no banana bread. None of that.
We can't put like lost cat flyers in people's mailboxes, but I think like if we wanted to mail something to our neighbor and we didn't want to get postage for it, we could just put it in their mailbox.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. Someone let us know.
Yeah, I don't think no one's going to call the police on you. But I'm not sure that you could put a piece of mail in somebody's mailbox without paying postage.
Like if I want to give you a birthday card,
you could leave it on my front step,
and then it's going to blow away.
But the mailbox is like federal. Like they own the space in there.
Right. Like
that's
that might be.
Are for.
I was going to say that might be tax evasion or something like that.
Right. All right, let's get into our ideas. I think we should let Stephanie go first. And I'll say this, I'm happy that she's joining us on the show. I was unhappy, however, because oftentimes I kind of throw ideas back and forth with her. Sometimes she has really good ones, and I make that the premise for my idea, which I typically will give you credit for. So what I'm getting at is that I had to come up with a totally different thing, and this is a really good idea. So you go first.
Okay. So I actually have a name this time for my invention. It's going to be called the Mail Genie. and we're going to have to throw the regulations away for just a couple minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
So I basically want this to be a mail sorter. So I want it to get rid of my junk mail, those credit card offers, things in my mailbox that I don't want, and it has a shredder in it. But I also want it to know what I do want, or the things that are important in my mail, and it is automatically going to open my mail for me, and it will make an electronic copy and either send it to my email, or it will put it on a hard drive. So then I have, I know like my mortgage will come in the mail, and I always put it in a pile when it comes to the house because I know that you have to keep those, like a paper trail of it. But I don't want to see it. So I just want that to be put on an external hard drive. But say it's something like a letter or a birthday card. It can scan it into my email so I can see it already and think, okay, do I want this or do I not want this? Do I want to keep it for
Or
the sentimental?
condoms, or banana
or
bread.
condoms, yeah. I also want notifications for packages or magazines in my mailbox because that's basically all I care about. Because sometimes, like Amazon, you'll get something sent to your house. It's on your front step. But like yesterday, I had something also in the mailbox that I didn't realize was there. I guess I could put a notification on my phone from Amazon.
Our mail person.
We have like 2 of them. I don't understand it.
I've moved around a lot, and I've had a lot of different mailmen, and I've realized you can really have a good mailman or mailwoman, or you can have a bad one.
They're never going to give us our mail if they listen to this.
Yeah, I hope they don't listen, but our mail persons are not very good.
They like put stuff in the wrong mailbox or put it on the wrong.
Right,
Like
we get the wrong mail all the time, and they're just incredibly lazy. Where if it can, I think their logic is if it can fit into the mailbox, even by means of cramming, it's not going on the front step.
Yeah.
So we order packages from Amazon, and they will everything in their ability they will use to get it into the mailbox, and sometimes it's like crumpled, and I'm like, you couldn't have put that on the front step.
You guys need a bigger mailbox.
Yeah, I guess so. We got to get that type 3, the number 3 box.
Now we know that we can do that.
All right.
Okay, so for the rest of my idea, let's see. Yeah, the only reason I want to go to my mailbox is basically to get magazines or packages or things like our water bill. I know that we have to actually bring that to the town. We can't have an electronic copy of that. It has to go to the town. I want it to shred everything after that, say, is important, has information on it that people shouldn't see. And I also want it to tell me if I'm online shopping a little too much, because sometimes we do get a little bit out of hand.
Maybe
You get useless things too sometimes.
I'll take sometimes. That's fair.
Yeah. And then for it, like, not being to code, I would say, like, if you paid a monthly fee of, like, $5, you could have this mailbox, and USPS could get the funds from it.
Ooh, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, so then they're still making money off of it, even though your mailbox is a little bit different than everyone else's.
I'm over here like I fucking hate our mailman, and she's like, I want them to be able to make a living.
They do make good money.
Yeah, good benefits, too.
That pension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my idea.
It's like I kind of feel like let's just end the episode, right? Because
Wrap it up.
Well, one yet.
I really like it. I guess I have like a couple of questions that I don't really need you to answer as to like how does it sort things, how does it shred.
So it's going to be larger than your typical mailbox. It's probably going to be it's probably going to have to be like the size of a box, and it has some sort of system in it.
Right. Remember I said I don't need you to answer this question.
But I wanted to. I feel like I'm on Shark Tank. Come at me.
She just like you unknowingly required like really incredible like computer vision and machine learning and all this like top level engineering stuff into this design. But I like that we're just like, it'll have a system in it.
It has like a pulley system, and it's
gonna take care of it.
Yeah. Well, that's, you listen to this show.
That's how it works.
And, you don't, the idea is you need to have ideas that are feasible, but you don't necessarily have to explain how they work because
don't even worry about it.
We're not smart enough to do that.
Do you have another question or was that it?
That's it. All right. Should I go next, Jesse, or are you anxious to go here?
Maybe I should go only because I kind of had the same idea, honestly.
All right. Okay.
Minds think alike.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. I called mine the You Choose mail system.
Oh.
There's a couple subtle differences, I guess I'll point out. So I don't know if you guys have this, but I signed up for USPS Informed Delivery, and it's free, I think, and any letters that you're getting in the mail from USPS get scanned at some point in the process, and I get an email now with a scan of what the envelope is, which is pretty sweet. So I'm at work and I can see what letters are coming that day. Of course, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me because I'm gonna have to go and physically get them anyway, but it's kind of nice knowing what's coming. So I just wanted to kind of step that up and basically say, before they even get delivered, send me this same notification and let me choose, I want this, I don't want this, or recycle or whatever.
I like that.
Shred.
Yeah, exactly. And, so that way it's all the spam mail I can just keep blocking. Maybe it'll kind of get smart and know which things I want or don't want. And then, a birthday card or something, I'll say, yes, deliver this. And I don't even mind, going and picking it up myself so long as I know the mail that I'm getting is actually stuff that I want.
I have a good idea for your shredding thing that we were just discussing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously people send things in the mail and they need packaging and things for fragile, I don't know, stuffing in the box. They could use the shreds from people's mail.
I feel like Stephanie, I feel like you could work at USPS with all these innovative ideas.
Yeah. I could.
I like that. It's really kind of sticking it to the spammers too. It's
they're going to hire me after this episode. We should send it right on over.
They're sending you all this garbage and you're turning it into something functional but never actually opening their letter.
Uh-huh.
All right. My idea is a little bit different, but because I knew what her idea was ahead of the time, so I tried to think outside of the box here. Outside of the mailbox here.
There it is.
As I mentioned, I noticed in reading about the history of mailboxes that it used to be a lot more exciting. We used to congregate at the post office, and I feel like we were all wearing top hats and dresses, and it was
getting
a lot
fancy.
You get fancy, and you go down to the post office and send your letters.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
It was a fun time, but now we dread it. We don't even want to walk 20 feet to the mailbox because we know there's just a bunch of crap in there. And the outside hurts our face in upstate New York.
Right.
So what I have come up with here is not a solution for all mailboxes, but a futuristic model that's available to those looking to make their mailing process more enjoyable and to try to bring back some of that old-timey joy and character that we loved about mail delivery. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of envelopes.
How?
Well, let's give them a minute.
Hit us with it.
All right. So you're going to have a pneumatic...
You can't even say that.
You're going to have a pneumatic tube system.
Oh.
All right. Similar to the one that you have at the bank where you make deposits at the drive-thru.
So we send things in tubes.
Correct.
It's all tubes.
So these tube vessels are made of a lightweight, cost-effective plastic. They're recyclable, I assume.
Crack.
Roughly the size of a small package. Okay, not the same shape or size as the ones that you have at the bank. A little bit, wider.
Okay.
The tubes themselves are deliverable and replace envelopes, which results in less waste. You can put postage on them. So I would have this tube. I would put my letter in it, and then I would slap a stamp on it or something, and then we'll get to how I deliver it.
But why does it make it better? Because it's being shipped in a tube.
It's better for the end user. So when let's say I want to mail Jesse a letter in a tube.
It's like, today you'd have to put a tube in a box and then mail it.
Are we all going to have those tube systems in between our house?
I thought about that. That's the infrastructure would be too complicated. No, so I have my letter in my tube. Inside of my house is like my container that the mail, comes into, because I don't have to walk to my mailbox. My mailman puts the tube into my mailbox, presses a button, and it goes into my house. So now your chocolate candies are never going to melt in the sun.
Unless it's 136 degrees in your house.
Sure, but then you have bigger problems.
Yeah.
So I want to mail Jesse a letter in a tube. I put it into like a vessel port, we'll call it, and I press a button to light the red flag indicator on the mailbox. So it's an LED, so when the mail carrier drives up to it, they see that there's mail, they press a button, and my tube sucks out of my house underground and is retrieved by the mail carrier. I kind of got off track here with that.
So how is this reduced? Like, why is it better to send in a tube?
Because you can recycle the tube.
Okay.
You can use it again.
So just like paper, we can recycle.
No, you can't reuse an envelope after it's been reused.
I'm kidding. You're fine.
And now who's on Shark Tank?
And you never have to leave your house.
Uh-huh.
And your chocolate candies aren't melting. And you're using less waste. Did I have anything else? When mail is delivered, your mail carrier places it into the pneumatic tube system, which delivers it into your house. And I'm going to call it YouTube.
I'm sensing a lawsuit.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can do that.
No, I didn't come up with a name. But when you said "you choose" or whatever your mailbox was called,
it was my Mail Genie.
No, Jesse's was "you choose mail" or whatever it was.
You can have.
You got mail.
You can be Tube Genie. Tube Genie.
So that's my idea: is to incorporate pneumatic tube systems. Is that even pneumatic? That's not pneumatic.
I think people probably call that pneumatic. It's a flow of air, so sure.
Okay. So that's my idea. Let's move on to has someone died using it? Current score 3.5 Jason to 3.5 Jesse.
All tied up.
All tied up here. Episode 14, the mailbox.
This one's for all the biscuits.
Yeah. So this is going to be my turn to guess. Jesse's done the research. Stephanie will be on my team. For a half a point, if we guess correctly that somebody has died, hypothetically, we can earn half a point. The other half would be earned by correctly guessing how it happened. We could guess no, and if that's true, we'll earn the full point.
Right.
So, this is a weird one because they're stationary, and you don't have a lot of interaction with them.
Unless a plow truck hits one, and then you get hit by the mailbox.
Right. So I'm like, all right, a flying mailbox could hit somebody and kill them.
Tornadoes too. Twisters.
Twisters.
All right, so a twister.
That is that I think that is like iconic imagery, right? When you have like a tornado, there's like a cow and a mailbox usually.
Right.
So
all right, again, flying. There's multiple ways that a mailbox could go flying. It could be on the back of a truck, a mailbox delivery truck, and one flies out the side on a sharp turn.
A mailbox delivery truck. That's not a thing.
And it hits somebody in the head. Somebody could run into a mailbox. Mm-hmm. Or bike into a mailbox. I actually once rollerbladed into a mailbox. Come to think of it. I didn't die, though.
No, still here.
Came back to life.
I was wearing a full face hockey helmet. That's another story. I don't know other ways that a mailbox could kill somebody.
Like, I don't think that someone would have died a different way other than getting hit by a mailbox. But I don't think that anyone... I don't know.
We got to think outside the box, though, like poisoning.
But that's not by the mailbox. That's by poison.
Well, someone could have, like, licked a mailbox repeatedly.
If someone went into my new and innovative mailbox, they might die.
Right, yours would shred them to death.
That's one way to sell it. They're more likely to kill you.
I say someone got impaled by the mailbox.
Impaled by it?
Presumably, like
no,
the post side of it, not like the top piece.
Well, if we're gonna go flying mailbox, I'm not gonna assume that it would impale them. We're gonna think like blunt trauma to the head.
Okay.
From a twister.
I can't even take it seriously.
Is twister your final answer?
No, I'm gonna. So we're thinking that yes. So, I mean, there's so many mailboxes.
I would say that a snowplow would happen more often than it.
I don't want to go snowplow. I want to go car accident.
Okay.
Somebody hit a mailbox, sent it flying. The mailbox hit somebody and killed them. Final answer.
Final answer.
Lock it in.
It's locked in. Okay. So someone has died via the mailbox. Half point.
All right, half a point.
Woo!
Now I'm going to get into the detail, okay? So you may remember, or maybe when I'll tell you this, you'll remember, and everyone listening will remember, there's kind of a classic story or like folklore of kids going around smashing mailboxes with baseball bats. And, I mean, that is a thing that happens, but the folklore is that some guy got really fed up with this, and he mounted his mailbox on like a steel pole. He cemented it to the ground, and I think he even cased the box itself in cement. And then when the kids came back, like, you know, a week later or whatever, and we're doing this again, they tried to swing at it with like an aluminum bat, and it bounced back and killed one of the kids in the car. So I went looking for this. I found a lot of stuff on like Snopes.com. This actually happened in an episode of CSI Miami. But I couldn't find an instance where that specifically actually happened. I did find the incidence of like people smashing mailboxes is so common that there are patents of devices on how to protect from this. And I want to send, not everyone will get to see it, but maybe we'll upload it on the website, a picture of one of these patents into the Discord here. It's just a terrible drawing.
Oh my god!
Is that a flare? What is that?
It's actually a spike trap, and it's supposed to like somehow capture the object, like rip it out of their hands. I don't know. I don't know how this ever got patented, to be honest. Seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, it looks like it was doodled by like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I have. But I couldn't find an instance where someone doing that, got hit by the baseball bat. And I was searching and searching, and then I found an old newspaper clipping from 1987. Don Terrell Henderson in Galveston, Texas, was smashing mailboxes out of a car window when he, quote, grew careless and got too close and hit his head on the mailbox, and it pulled him out of the vehicle. He then died of his injuries.
Sounds like blunt force trauma.
Well, sure, but it wasn't the result of a car accident.
Yeah, so he got ripped out of the car by hitting his head on the mailbox.
It was an accident that happened in the car. Sure, I appreciate you trying to earn me the half a point here.
Yeah, no, I mean I considered it for a second whether or not that would count, but I think this is different than a flying mailbox.
For some reason, I was so fixated on the mailbox flying and not the person flying into the mailbox. But though I did say someone could like bicycle into a mailbox.
Yeah, you went like run into it, bike into it, rollerblade into it, and just like drive into it. Didn't really,
No, I forgot about like people having their heads out the window.
Yeah. So half point, I'd say.
All right, that brings the score to 4 to 3.5. This is a close race.
Yeah, it's really going like neck and neck every episode.
All right, that's going to wrap up today's episode on the mailbox. Stephanie,
yes.
Thank you for. Did you think I had a question for you?
A little bit.
I was just going to say thank you for coming back on the show.
Not a problem.
And for coming up with the topic for today's show as well. Do follow us on Instagram and Facebook at That Just Might Work. On Twitter, it's at TJMW Podcast. Send your feedback again to feedback at thatjustmightworkpodcast.com. mailgenie.com. And hey, join us next week. You never know, we might be talking about your favorite everyday object.
Thanks for listening.